Hello everybody, welcome back to Chachi the Plumber. As you can see, this drain is completely detached. So when you run the water on the sink, the water just goes all over the bottom of the floor. And you could also see that on those two water lines, there are no shutoff valves. So we're going to fix all that. We're going to give them two new shutoff valves, and we're going to fix the drain. First thing we do, we're going to take the drain apart to get it out of our way. And as you could see, it was falling apart, crumbling right when we touched it and took it apart. So first things first, we're going to take the supplies apart. And then we're going to grab our MAP gas. And we're going to de-sweat these fittings off of the copper. Because if we were to cut it, we wouldn't have enough room to pro-press them back on. And this just works out. We have the space to do so. So what you do, you heat it up enough for the solder to melt back to its melting point, and they come right off just like that. We wait for the pipes to cool down before we put the ProPress fittings on, just because the ProPress fittings have those gaskets inside of them, and we don't want them to burn up. So we're gonna clean the pipes and dry fit everything, make sure everything looks good, and it looks good right there. So we're gonna ProPress it one at a time. And in this big office building, I'm going to show you guys when we turn the water back on, but we had to turn it off to the whole entire office building. I think we had about 2 hours to do this job, which is more than enough time. Now I was going to keep this strainer, but it was wobbling, it just didn't look good. So if we were going to change all those pipes, I touched it, and we might as well just change this too. I had to cut the nut off because it was acting a bit stubborn. The whole thing was moving. So with a Sawzall and a screwdriver, we were able to cut it in half. And then with a screwdriver, we were able to pry the nut off and take it apart. Just like that. And then it goes up.
Okay.
And now we're ready to put the new strainer in. Now this is me turning the water back on. As you can see, they have a big boiler room. Some lady was down here smoking, and I guess they have cameras in here, so the lady that was smoking could have blown everyone up. That's why they put that sign up, and they held her purse as ransom. And now we're gonna turn the water back on, make sure nothing's leaking upstairs at this huge water main and in this beautiful boiler room. It honestly is very neat, so props to them for keeping it so neat. And some big ProPress fittings right there. Looks like 2-inch. And we're back upstairs. There's no leaks at the ProPress valves we installed, so now we're gonna put the strainer in, putty it up, and then for the basket, it goes the rubber up on top and then the cardboard. So when you tighten it up, that basket's able to sit on top of something that's not soft like the rubber, and give it that extra support. So we're gonna put the nut on, and we're gonna grab our channel lock, tighten her up. That's me politely asking for my channel lock from my boy Carlos. Carlos is my helper. He's helping me out today. For this job, we didn't really need any help, so he had the pleasure to record me. Thank you, Carlitos, mi amigo. And we're tightening it up with the channel lock, big channel lock. Just like that. Now we come up, and we're going to show you the putty. When you see the putty like that, you know you tighten it up enough. And then we're going to clean it all up. We're going to scrape it all off with the screwdriver. And get the last crust off. I like to dab it with the putty to get anything extra off.
Okay, yeah.
That's just what I do. And now we're ready to put the drain in. So right now we have an 1.5 inch chrome P-trap and an 1.5 inch brass waistband. Now we're gonna have to cut the waistband a little bit because it would be too long just like that. So we got our number 20 rigid cutter and we marked it with our hand and we know where to cut it at. So we cut that bad boy up nice and slow, nice and steady, and what a sound. I love hearing that thing crack beautifully. Now we're gonna get the slip nut and the washer on. I like using the plastic ones just because they seem to be a bit more durable and last longer. So right now we're gonna dry fit everything. I mean, when I say dry fit, I just mean hand tight. So we're gonna hand tighten everything right now just to make sure we get all our measurements right and everything in the right locations. So now we're gonna put the waistband. I mean, I guess this is a waistband too for the trap, but as you can see, it is not long enough. So we're gonna need an extension tail piece to bring this out just a little bit. It's not gonna have to be too long, but it is necessary to get this working. You could offset it, but this just worked out easier. So we had to cut it one more time so we could get a dry measurement, a dry cut. And with it cut once, we're gonna cut it again at the right spot. And as you can see, it's very, very little bit of pipe that we need to use to get it to where we need to be. But it does its job, and that little bit makes the big difference. So while we're cutting, we're gonna take that P-trap off. Now that we got it cut, we're gonna get everything ready. We're gonna put all the gaskets on, all the slip nuts, and again, hand tightening everything for now. Now we got our chrome trap. We're gonna tighten her up, and last but not least, we gotta make our tailpiece measurement. So figure right about there. That should be good. We're gonna let this go for a little bit while we make our cut. Now when you're cutting with this 20 cutter, you gotta start nice and slow, because if you go too much, the tailpiece will ovalize. It will turn into a nice oval, and it won't cut properly. That's the main thing. And then it will cut one section of the pipe, and you won't be going in a full rotation, and it is no good. So we're gonna take it out. We're gonna hand tighten everything a little bit more, just so when we put it in, it stays firm, it stays strong, and we could be assured that everything's in the right position and we have the right measurements to be made. So we're gonna tighten everything up, hand tighten everything back together, make sure everything's looking good, and it looks like we did a pretty good job with our measurements. Everything seems to be lining up good. We're gonna put it up there, tighten it up here. And it looks pretty good. We're gonna lower it down a little bit just so it's not jumping out like that. Tighten her up. We're gonna put some channel locks to this because all the gaskets are in. There's really no need for any pipe dope, and we should be good to go to run some water. Now we're gonna connect the supplies, the water supplies, to the kitchen faucet. Tighten it up with some baby channel locks, and get that water on. And of course, no leaks. Yeah. And we're gonna run the water a little bit. We're gonna plug it up, and it looks like it's working good. No leaks. Definitely a lot neater. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.